Tigercast, just wanted to do a quick video because a couple of things have happened today that it's worth talking about. Camden McIntosh, firstly, it's been obviously officially announced now that this week will be his last game for the Richmond Football Club, and it's going to be a bit of a sad one to see him go. I think he's definitely been a much-loved player by the Tiger Army throughout his career. This will be his, 213th game. He's kicked 62 goals, won 2 flags. He was drafted at pick number 31 back in 2012. I think he missed the first couple of years just trying to fight his way into the team and show his wares and get himself noticed. But he has been the ultimate Richmond man. I know that term gets thrown around quite a lot, but Camden really does represent and personify what it is to be a Richmond man. Completely and utterly selfless with the way he plays football. And we spoke about it with Tiggs and even on the Monday night show as well, that he won't always have gotten stats for these things, but the amount of times that he would guard the corridor or guard the switch kick, especially when we're flying in like 2017 through to 2020, a lot of the way we were able to play was kind of dictated to by how well we defensively guarded the ground and didn't let teams do what they wanted to do. And Camden's a big part of that. And I know Dimmer highlighted him quite a number of times in relation to the work he did do off the ball that didn't get possessions. But he also had a really good knack of winning a lot of contests he shouldn't have won. Like the amount of times that the ball's been switched out to the wing, they've just kicked a long one to space. He's in a 2-on-1, shouldn't win the contest, but finds a way to scrap, to lock the ball in and cause a stoppage, or even turn it over and have it come out with him giving off another handball to a running player. You just knew that you were getting 110% effort each week with Kamdyn McIntosh. And I know there's been some iffy kicks along the journey, but all players have those moments. But for the large part, he played to his skill set. He was an aerobic animal, would often finish really, really highly in all of our time trials, and would just relentlessly run up and down the wing all day. And it's a hard role to replace because we've got all these young kids coming through. And in a lot of ways, it does feel like the timing is right to hand the baton over, but these guys that are coming through, they're not going to be able to play that wing role like Camden played. They're not going to have the tank, the endurance, the killer instinct yet to do that role that he did for so long for us. So it's going to take a little bit of adjusting. We've obviously seen a bit of that happen this year already. But yeah, it will be sad to see him finish up. I love that he's made the headband iconic this year, and I really hope we see a sea of yellow and black headbands at the MCG this week against the Cats. And look, it's not a retirement. It does seem like he wants to play on, and that from what I suppose Tiggs has heard and what a lot of people have heard, that there will be some interest from some WA clubs in particular, given the go-home factor. And any club that wants to add a mature body who's prepared to work his ass off for you, there'll be plenty of people lining up to add someone like that on their list for another 1 or 2 years. It's just unfortunate that it didn't quite align with where we were in our football cycle, but we congratulate Kamdyn McIntosh on a wonderful career at the Richmond Football Club. It's been a pleasure to watch him play. And above all else, every person that you see speak, is interviewed, or you speak to yourself who's had an interaction with Camden, just says he's a ripper guy. He's the glue of the club. A funny dude. You see all the videos that have popped up in recent times, like the scooter prank on Damien Hardwick, all the home hardware things that he's doing. He's just an out there character. And yeah, he's one of those players that sets the scene at a footy club. And we very likely wouldn't be in the position we are with players like him in our 4 walls. So congratulations again, Camden. We appreciate everything you've done, and we wish you all the best for everything that you do for next year and beyond, whatever that may be. The second bit of information I wanted to talk about tonight, there was one final training report that was dropped by Caesar on Punt Road End. I want to give another massive shout out to Caesar, who has done a legendary amount of work, especially during the off-season where everyone's craving some type of footy news of any description. He's an absolute superstar. I've enjoyed plenty of inbox messages with Caesar talking about training and different players. He's a ripper, and I hope to meet him one day. So Caesar from Punt Road End, you're an absolute legend. But this was the one final training session that we had that he had notes on, and I was getting tagged left, right, and center in message to make sure that I mentioned this somewhere because it was just such good reading and to hear about Josh Smiley in particular, who's the first name on the list. So I'm just going to read it as per what Caesar wrote, so not to get it wrong. He says that today he completed a full main training and looked impressive, mainly early before fatigue started to catch up with him. Had a lunge tackle to bring down Seth and another decent chase of the same player and some visionary handballs, 120 metre, that's 120 metre one, that's crazy, on his left hand in traffic to a player in the open who didn't have to break stride. He finished off the session with his role mastery with Carousella and Lonergan, 4 poles in the ground, tightly spaced, weaving in and out, continually being thrown the ball in the process of dishing off handballs, pretty much to replicate being stuck in traffic and dishing out quick handballs tightly. And Caesar believes what Serpil says, that if the VFL do progress into finals a bit further and he is available, that he could still yet play a part. And I guess that's initially the question I want everyone to answer in the comments below. If we do progress past wildcard and Smiley does tick all the boxes from a fitness and a conditioning perspective, are you happy to play him? My answer is yes. I've probably changed my mind on this a little bit. I was definitely in the no camp about a month ago. I was in the Rapid Cotton Wool camp. But then the more I sat back and thought about it, the more I felt I needed to apply my same rationale for Josh Gibcus to play this week if he gets selected. But I always thought he should, to Josh Smiley. And the reason being that it will be good for him to have belief in his body, for his own mental soundness and well-being and belief. And he's a competitive animal. He's a competitive kid who's been deprived of football this year for a range of reasons that would have been extraordinarily frustrating for him. So to still have an opportunity to go out and play football in a finals-like environment, to help his club, to get a few kicks and to have an impact, I think that's important. And when they're not playing on shit-eat grounds either. They're playing on good quality venues. So I'd roll him out there. I mean, you got to get the kid to play football, I think, is where we're at now. Some other notes from the training report from Caesar. He was obviously well impressed with Tash Houghton. He didn't need to try and sell anyone anything there, which I thought was quite funny. Luke Traynor, who was a late withdrawal last week, trained fully, which was good. And we obviously had Serpil's fitness report, or training injury report, the other day, saying the scans come up clear. So that's a big tick. And the other interesting one was Sammy Lawler, who Caesar had mentioned is cranking things up in rehab, which ties into what Serpil said as well, that he's progressing really, really well. So Caesar reckons at a minimum he comes back this off-season in better shape than last, despite the hamstring-ridden season, pending like all the recovery still going as it should. Lawler's actually doing roughly about the same amount of work as what McAuliffe's doing in rehab currently, and McAuliffe's a slight chance of playing this year too, albeit probably a lot less than what Smiley is, just given the time frames. But really good and positive to hear that Sammy Lawler's doing well. Someone else did post in the live chat, they may have been at somewhere near the training as well, saying that he's just looking shredded and ripped, which is always nice to hear. So good to hear that Lawler's progressing well. And that Gray and Hampson also got through the training session, and they'll be available for VFL wildcard as well, which, you know, those two coming back in really transforms our VFL look, as well as having Hayes, Brown and Forsyth back last week. I think there's going to be, hopefully, a strong finals or wildcard into finals campaign. And McKelty Lafau, Caesar mentioned, looked good as well. So hopefully he's back soon too. But again, shout out to Caesar. You're an absolute superstar. We love your work. But that's a wrap for this video. I just thought there was just a couple of things that had popped up today that were worthy of discussion and conversation. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And then, yeah, hopefully we have a big game against the Cats this weekend and can put up a strong fight, and we'll just see what happens from there. So enjoy, and until next time, go Tigers.